Good evening, everyone. The Women's World Cup Finals qualifiers are back, which means that we are back with our Road to Stadium Australia, show. I just want to introduce the panel first before we run the intro. Two of my favourite people. The reason why this all started. My co-host this evening, we switched roles. Lottie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Chi. I'm good. I've just had a long week. I've had a really bad week in terms of work, but I think this show's been keeping me going. It's been so long since we've been back. It's our third episode, and it's World Cup qualifiers for the women at the minute, and I've just been really looking forward to it. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I think I went back earlier. The last show we did was in November.
So yeah, because we missed the Arnold Cup, didn't we? Because I think I had a lot of stuff going on and we just didn't really get it together, did we? So
yeah,
but it's okay. I think you've got something up your sleeve for that, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll touch on that a bit later and go into it. Some good success. And then my other guest, it's amazing to have you on. Albert, how are you?
I'm good, man. This is a privilege. I was saying to you guys before we went live that I think this is actually the first time we've done a live stream, just us three. So better late than never.
We all get there eventually.
Yeah. But I just want to say a quick thing. Thank you to the people that sent some very lovely messages yesterday, because it's a very poignant day for myself and the family. So the love was mad, I must admit. So yeah, much love to people and you two beautiful people as well.
Always. We were always here for you.
No,
it's lovely to see you.
Cheers. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, so let's roll the intro and then we'll get into the rest of the show.
He's in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Welcome back, everyone. As I said just before, we're back with our Road to Stadium Australia show, following the Lionesses World Cup qualifying journey throughout the rest of this year, going into the tournament next year. Obviously, we've got the Euros as well coming up this summer. A bit of a weird one, how we've got a World Cup qualifying campaign in the middle of your Euros. So, yeah, bear with us on that. The first thing we're going to start off with is obviously the amazing news we all saw yesterday. And that is our fellow Gooner. She has now been named the England captain going forward for the Euros, and obviously these games sort of leading up to it as well. Lottie, what did you think when you first saw this pop up yesterday?
Do you know what? She's just Miss England through and through. For me, she's been playing for England for 5 years now. Her debut was in 2017, and she's trained hard. She plays brilliantly for Arsenal, and to actually see an Arsenal player have the captaincy is absolutely brilliant. We're not going to see it with the men. We'll take it from the girls. So I'm sorry, but it's probably hard facts for some people, but I can't ever see it happening. But I'm so pleased for her, and she's just so humble in the way she's come across in her response, in her her post interviews after it was announced. And I think I saw the interview. I think it was from the Arsenal women's page, and it was just incredible how honest she was, and she would just it hasn't gone to her head. She still wants to be a regular player like the rest of the team. It's like, it's no do what I say sort of attitude, and it's great to see.
Yeah, and as well, it's kind of, to me, a bit of a bigger achievement as well, because she's not actually the captain of her club. I know she's obviously the vice captain, and when Kim comes off, she takes the armband, but she's not technically the captain of her club. So I think Serena sort of has come in to the setup, obviously her own ideas, and could really see. I think she sort of started with a blank canvas, not wanting to know the history and just let them do their thing. And obviously her her leadership has shone through. So that's another thing as well. Albert, I know that you're a big fan of Leah. What did you feel like yesterday?
I like the way you brought me with that. Yeah, I've made no secret. I have a partial liking to Leah Williamson. You know what it is? I was at work yesterday actually, and I get the little BBC thing come through on my phone. It said Leah Williamson's been named England captain. I said yes, get in there, girl. You know what? Was obviously Lottie and yourself know. I'm quite new to. I'm new to women's football in terms of the sort of domestic side of it, but in terms of England, I've been following for quite a long time. But yeah, delighted for her, man. The times I've seen Leah play, I mean, people talk about that cup final we had against Chelsea, and we missed her then. But you know what? She's very. I think she kind of mentioned it in an interview I saw, where she's quite an introverted character. She's not. There's plenty of different characters in the makeup in terms of the England setup, in terms of the jokers and the ones that are really serious. And yeah, she's quite chilled and laid back. And I saw the interview. I think it was England. I don't know, not the full. It's about a minute and a half clip, and she just spoke brilliantly, very eloquently, calm and measured, and it helps that she's a very, very good footballer, Leah. And Serena, I don't know if many people kind of saw it, but yeah, she's being sort of put in a different position. So I'm sure we'll talk about that down the line. But yeah, absolutely ecstatic for her, and obviously being one of our own, fantastic.
It feels a little bit more special, doesn't it, when we have that link of club with her as well.
Yeah, because Lottie sort of touched on the men's side of it, where there was quite a few years where we didn't really have any Arsenal players that are represented for England. I think for me that's a big problem. I've seen many England sides over the years where we've had some fantastic Arsenal representation, but to have it and not just have her in the England squad, but to be captain. I remember I think she's the World Cup before the last one when she kind of broke in, but I don't think she got many minutes. But yeah, fantastic, delight for her, man.
Perfect. And if we go into obviously the old captain, who her reign has now finished, Steph Houghton. I love her. She's one of the first names I knew of, really, from watching the Lionesses and Team GB as well. So Lottie, what did you think about her previously? And again, as you bring up her statement sort of yesterday, how much it shows what a true leader really is.
Do you know what? Steph Houghton is one of those names. You think of England women and she's the first name that's down on my list. I mean, we're on this journey together watching I know, Gee, you've watched international football more than I have for the women. And even I know for a fact that Steph Houghton's name is just a household name. She's the first name on the first name I associate with the England women's team. But you know, her statement. She's released a statement. There's no bitterness and there's no upset, and it's just nice to see. She's happy. Her injury has been an issue, and it has affected her, and she won't be able to lead. If she can't lead, it's maybe time to gracefully she just gracefully stepped away from it.
Yeah, and I think as well, she probably knew this was coming after all this time. She's obviously been injured quite a lot. I don't know when she picked up the injury, but she's been absent for quite a long time for City this season. Albert, do you, in a way, she also, in the end of her statement, she does sort of say that she doesn't want it to be the end of her international journey. She still wants to push herself and be ready for the tournament. Do you think that she should still be a part of that, considering the length of time she hasn't played this season? Oh, you're on mute.
Look at that, typical. But no, I was going to say, I don't know. You guys might know, or people in the chat, that what type of injury it is. But I know, I think in September last year there was an issue, so she had to pull out of the squad. Came back again January this year. Again, another issue in terms of injury. So she's been out a long time. Yeah, she did. I mean, I can imagine not a great conversation to have. What Serena Wiegman had with probably Steph in terms of, she's going to give the captaincy to Leah Williamson. But she's very experienced. I think she's been captain since 2014. She's played in 3 major tournaments, 3 semi-finals. So yeah, she is. She's going to be a miss. But I think with this England side, you've got some major characters in there, and their spirit more than anything, that group of players is sensational. I'll probably mention that a bit later in the stream, but yeah, listen, she's a top player, but that's the thing, G. You get an injury, and it's whether it's the same injury or you get another one that adds to it, it's difficult, man. And I think it's gonna sort of bite a little bit more of her, because obviously not just a regular in terms of the centre back partnership with Millie Bright, but you're the captain of your country. You know, people, that's a massive honor. So she's 32 or 33, I believe, G. So I don't know. It depends when she does actually eventually recover, how fit the body is. Because once you get playing, that's we're only gonna know if she's kind of really back to where she was before. But like Serena Riegman said, like she hasn't played, so it's difficult to kind of, you know, give anybody some reassurances. You can't, not with tournament football, you can't. But you know what? Get back soon, Steph, man. Get fit and healthy, then we'll see what happens for the rest of it.
And Lottie, as I say, she mentioned she wants to get back in there. How important would her experiences from her previous years be in and around the team? And do you think that she should then play, if she is fit, play an active role, or do you think it's a bit unfair on the players that sort of got us to where we are now?
The thing is, I think she is an important player, but I think it's also important to remember how much she's done for the England team. We've got a lot of players on there. For example, like I think it's Ella Toon. She's only got 11 caps.
Yeah,
she's got some international experience, but it's not major. And I don't believe she's been to a tournament before. So that would leave us, there's several players like her, and that will leave us at a disadvantage. I think her experience brings a lot to the table, and it's definitely worth probably keeping her if she's fit enough. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't turn her down, because we've got the likes of Jill Scott in there. We've got Ellen White. She's been around for what seems like forever. But for the younger girls that are coming through, it's needed, I think. Yeah,
that's a good point. I think for me, I would more likely rather have her within the squad, but not as an active starter, and just be in there for maybe the much bigger games we have as a more experienced alongside Millie Bright, just to sort of level it out, because they've got a good partnership, and it could obviously take us further in certain aspects. But as you say, there are a lot of players in this team that are under at least 20, 25 caps. So to be going into a tournament with consecutive years as well, they are going to need those sort of characters that have been around, as you say, like Ellen White, Jill Scott, certainly in and around the team. But that brings us nicely into the Arnold Clark Cup win recently. It came out of nowhere, really. I didn't really hear too much about the tournament being advertised or anything. It was we were certainly focusing more on these sort of games and being back for these games, and then all of a sudden this competition came out of nowhere. It's the first time it's ever been played, so it's the first one. Maybe that's possibly why, but we are the first ever winners. Albert, what did you sort of make? Did you see any of the games, and what did you make of us winning it in the end?
I did see all the games. I did. I think with the World Cup qualifiers, obviously the strength in depth with the other nations, it's not going to be a true reflection of probably where this England team are, or where Serena Riegman wants to see how good the players are, really. And she kind of did make note of that, in terms of they're coming up against top quality opposition, different types of opposition. Canada, Olympic champions, Spain touted as potential favourites for the Euros. Very, very good ball keeping side. Wow. And obviously you can't ever kind of rest with the Germans. You know what? Defensively, actually, England looked really, really good. Very, very solid, very compact, very versatile, because you've got the likes of Jess Carter, who's obviously partners with Millie Bright at Chelsea. Rachel Daly's super, super experienced. So she actually got a very good relationship with Millie Bright on and off the pitch. Lucy Bronze's come back after long injury. I didn't realize how long it was. Apparently, I think last game for England before she came back was in the World Cup, I think it was. And That's a long time ago, if that's right. But yeah, defensive, there's very good G and Lottie. But I think for me, and obviously, let me not forget, sorry, Alex Greenwood,
Yeah.
who can play left back and centre back. Very, very good distributor of the ball. Very, very good diagonal passing. So England have got amazing cover in that. And I think Jess Carter can play left back as well.
Yeah.
I think Rachel Daly can play even in goal as well, to be honest. I think she's everywhere. But the one thing I kind of saw over the 3 games, which England need to work on, and the 3 in the league obviously knows that, is England, they turn over the ball way too much. And you can't do that if you're going to be coming up against the big guys in the latter stages of a tournament. This was a fantastic preparation, not just to play, those type of teams and opposition, but to actually win it. But the first game against Canada was a bit, like I said, a lot of turnover, way too much. And our top goal scorer, Millie Bright, got goals in. But yeah, I don't want to say too much. You want to come bring in Lottie, but just a bit more better ball retention, because I'm sure we'll talk about some of the players more so.
Yeah. And Lottie, how important do you think that winning this competition actually was, going forward into, obviously, as I say, the consecutive competitions these summers, and also, again, as we touched on, with some of the players on so many minimal caps for their country as well?
Oh no, do you know what? I think the Honour Cup, with the teams that were chosen, it was there to show what holes are in the England squad. I mean, as Albert said, the turnover it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm not gonna lie. Some of the group we're in for the World Cup, I mean, we've already had a result of 20-0. I mean, even Serena said that she doesn't want to be seeing them scorelines, which I can understand, because if you want to take the sport seriously, you can't be turning teams over like that. But do you know what? It is what it is. And I found that the Arnold Cup has shown we can compete with the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Canada's got a great team. Germany, and is it Spain?
Spain.
They've all got great teams.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we beat Germany for the first time ever is just the icing on the cake for me. But in terms of momentum, yes, this is what we need. This should be a confidence boost, and in terms of being together as a team, they should feel invincible right now. They've got a reasonably easy group, and internationals that are coming up are going to be very interesting. I think the next couple of days is going to be interesting for the team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get onto the sort of team and the news in a second, but I feel like with us, the games that we've seen so far this year, certainly the same sort of players are playing. There has been a chance for debuts to be had here and there, but she already seems to already know her team and her setup. So these injuries that we've got at the minute may sort of give the opportunities for other people to take over and show what they've got. But Albert, what do you think about Serena?
Can I these comments absolutely flying in?
Sorry,
I'm gonna pull some of them up. It's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, sure.
The first comment of the show goes to Matt Roberts. Hello all, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on catch up. Comment below your thoughts, and most importantly, don't let the blanks get you down. Got Lee Meadows in the chat. Good evening, everybody. Like and subscribe. Got Adam Sower. Evening all. Evening, Adam. We got the Mr. Arsenal podcast. Even when Steph Houghton comes back from injury, I'd keep Leah as England captain. Call me biased, but I do not care.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen. That's why she's made this point now, isn't it? That it's a new step going forward, rather than someone to just cover in case Steph comes back. I think it's proactively taken the steps to move the team forward and the end of Steph's reign, really.
Leah's got about 3 minutes against Cameroon.
Yeah, in 2019. I went back and World Cup too far.
Come so far since then. Yeah, no, definitely, completely agree. Matt Roberts, great to see. Steph has said she's happy to talk to Leah and guide her, and she still wants to play for England. I think we all love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Lee, a classy statement from Steph. She's had such a long injury layoff. She's tried so hard to get back. Mr. Arsenal podcast. I think she done her Achilles recently. I remember something about surgery Achilles surgery, so Ryan may be right there. Adam Salter, Steph was a great captain, but sadly her body is failing her. She's struggled so badly with injuries recently. Everything has come to an end. Everything has to come to an end at some point, even for her. I know it's horrible thought, isn't it? Jim's in the house. Evening, Jim. Steph's husband has not been well either.
Yeah,
So
that's been
that's
a
one
long
thing as
a long
well.
term
Actually,
thing. Yeah.
She is amazing as that with that as well.
No, definitely. Richard's in the house. Over again. The Arsenal podcast. We need to look at the future now. Steph has been an amazing player, but she's past her best. I'd bring her in to help the squad, but not to play.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam, for me, she's a bench player, someone to bring on late and see games out. I think Adam's with you on the same page as you there, G.
Yeah.
Matt, she could do what Beckham did in South Africa.
Absolutely.
That could be interesting, Alps. What do you think of that comment?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you don't makes me laugh. You know, I'm laughing because when we had the men's Euros, the Henderson was obviously he's seen as an experienced and key player in it, and obviously they asked Roy Keane about him. He said, well, if he's not ready to play, like, what's he going to do? Is he good at playing cards? Or but no, I mean that's not the same thing. But yeah, you could do, but I mean, it depends. It will come down to what Serena Williams wants to do in terms of, you know, the harmony and the spirit of the camp. So we'll see.
Okay, got Keith in the house from Mostly Arsenal. Hey, Keith. Richard again over again, the Arsenal podcast. We were excellent in the Arnold Cup. Great to see Leah lift the cup. Hopefully she'll do the same this summer. I think Richard's feeling pretty confident for the Euros. Adam, to be fair, it was the first time I ever heard the Arnold Clark as a company. I thought he was a bloke who wrote 2001 Space Odyssey. Do you know what? I'm on the same page as Adam there because that's what I thought. I thought, what is this? Sorry,
yeah, is it named after a person when actually it's named after some tyres?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit of a tongue twister. A lot of people get it kind of. It is. I even saw Laura Woods get tongue tied quite a few times as well, man.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Oh no, it happens to me on a regular basis, so it's all good. Jonesy's in the house. Love the stream guy with 3 lions on there. Lee Meadows, I still think Steph has a lot to offer, certainly in terms of experience. No, definitely. Adam, we need bronze to bronze fit for her to score her customary worldie goal against Norway in the Euros. Ooh, that sounds good. That does sound very good. Over and over Arsenal podcast, sure. I'm assuming that says sure. Over and over again, the Arsenal podcast. Lauren Hemp was brilliant. She'll be key this summer. I believe we'll come on to that a bit later. Matt Roberts, remember we won. We won.
She 2019, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
She believes the cup and then got to the semi-final team. Semi-final. This team has yet to get to a final.
It's that extra push, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be the extra push. Adam Salter, the William Walsh Axis FTW. I'm not too sure. For the win. There we go. I'm a bit slow. Sorry, guys. And my favourite Tottenham fans in the house, Holly Agenbar, evening all. How are my 3 favourite Arsenal fans? We're all good, Holly. I hope you're feeling better because I saw on Twitter you weren't feeling too great, my love. But I hope you're feeling better soon. And one of my other co-hosts is in the chat. G, Lottie. yes, Lottie, G and Albert. That's supposed to be an England flag. That's fine. It's all good. G, you still have. I'm surprised you haven't got your favourite line in because it is an England show. I'm going to wait for you to see if you actually get that in there. But one more. Adam's just dropped in before we can move on. Sorry, G. Adam told Matt, England has got 2 Women's Euros finals in the past. And Holly, currently hella ill, but I couldn't not stop by. Do you know what? I love that. Thank you, Holly. Do appreciate it. And I know G do appreciate that as well. And that is all the comments for the moment. We will come back to them in a bit, and I'm going to hand it back over to G.
Perfect. Thank you. So sorry about that. I got lost in my
brain.
You know
what? You got so into it, and I felt really guilty for interrupting you.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
To put in any comments or questions. We will pick them back up, I promise. But what I was going back to, the appointment of Serena
Yes.
Albert. Obviously, she is from the Netherlands. She coached the Netherlands. She's been successful with them. What do you think do you think she could bring us the extra flair going into a tournament? Maybe that we've been missing in the past years with other managers.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if many people kind of saw the appointment coming, really, but it's a massive, massive coup. I'm sure the England players were very excited. She comes from that, the era and a country where the whole total football thing and the whole 4-3-3 but what football's kind of it. She's very aware that yes, you might look at lineups and you might start with 4-3-3, but it can be very adaptable 3-5-2, 4-3-2-1. You have to be very flexible in games. But yeah, she comes with a massive, massive rep. I think she got appointed in August 2020, if that's correct. Actually has, I know she's only been in the job a short time, but win percentage at Holland was over 70%. When she got the job there, they had lost 4 out of 5 games, and within 6 months she wins the Euros, and they won every single game. No, draws in the groups or whatever. So she comes with a massive, massive rep. I think what's her win percentage at the moment? I think for the previous England managers, they was around. Hope Powell had 50.3%, Mark Sampson 65%, and Phil Neville 54.3%. But Serena comes with wealth of experience. She won the Euros with Holland in 2017. To win a major tournament within 6 months of taking over is quite remarkable. And then she follows it up by taking Holland to the World Cup final 2 years later, in the final against USA. So massive kudos, man. Massive kudos to get her in. And listen, she's got an amazing group of players to work with. You could, as Gareth Southgate does with the men's team, she's got some fantastic. She's got experience there. A lot of these girls that she has to work with in this group they've been in a major tournament now, so they've been in England shirt quite a while now, so they know how it feels to obviously no more nerves. But yeah, Serena's have been a very good appointment, man. Like I said, her CV speaks for itself, and for England to get her, she's a winner, and that's what you got.
Yeah, nice. No, I agree with that. Lottie, what have you made of the style of play that's come in since Serena's sort of taken over this England team?
Do you know what I enjoy the way she plays. I mean, I've obviously in the past watched some of Serena's games when she was in charge of Netherlands, and the way she turned that team round when she did join was incredible. I think we've got an excellent chance for the Euros this year. I don't see why not. There's still a few holes to fix, as we said earlier, but I've really enjoyed watching her, and I'm looking forward to what else she brings to the table and what plan she's got for us. It's very exciting times for women's football, as we all know, because the way it's grown. I mean, I've just double checked, but the first game against Austria, which I am going to at Old Trafford, has sold out. It's 74,000 people are going.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we already know that Wembley's sold out for the final. And there's not even fixtures there, but the games are selling out, and it's exciting to see. Very exciting. So, and to see Serena at the forefront, even better.
Sorry, G, just to add to a little bit more. I think during the sort of the Arnold Clark Cup games, people kind of had a little bit of raised eyebrows in terms of the amount of players she used during the 3 games, but I didn't have a major problem with it, because obviously you need to see how the ladies are going to cope against different types of opposition, and not just that, top quality opposition as well. She done even during some of the games. Actually, I thought the Germany game was the best game. It was a great game, actually, very, very good game. And saw a couple of games where Millie Bright was sort of almost an emergency striker sort of thing. So she was willing to be attacking and go and get the win. And I don't see her as someone, in terms of what I've seen of the England team under her, as someone that's very cautious. Like I said, she comes from a Dutch background, so about total football and possession football, and like I said, they've got the players to hurt teams. England. We're going to come on to obviously some of the players, but yeah, she seems quite flexible to me in terms of utilizing the best of what England have at the moment, and you'd be interested to see what the summer holds and the future.
And as well, I mean, obviously, I don't know her personally to say it for sure, but you can't imagine she would maybe know too much about the English players from being, like, obviously being from the Netherlands, living in a different country, working in different leagues. I know there'll be people looking at things, and she would have had some knowledge going into it. But again, it's sort of starting as a fresh start. You see the likes of like Ella Toon, as you said, that has only got 11 caps. Katie Zellum has only got 1, and she's the captain of Man United.
Wow.
So, and again, I don't know if you guys know, but all 3 of the goalkeepers that are in the squad for these couple of games this week, they're all under 15 appearances for England.
Yes, mad.
We've obviously got Mary Epps, the one we would probably prefer to be in the goal, the one we might know the most of. She's on 15.
Wow.
15.
I thought it would have been a lot higher. She's an absolutely brilliant keeper. I know she plays elsewhere, but I still think she's brilliant.
Yeah. And then you've obviously, she's the United goalkeeper, as we said. I feel like her name's been around for so long, yet she's not played for England too much. Then the backup you would sort of say is Ellie Roebuck from Man City.
Yeah.
She's got 8. just 8.
Yeah.
It goes to show sorry. It goes to show that the past tournaments in the past years, there has been like the Karen Bardsley who was in goal pretty much every single game solidly. So it's now, I feel as well, it's coming at that point, like a full circle where you get to start again, and these new names have emerged, and they're all sort of getting a chance at the same point. There's not a number one, as so, the shirt is there to fight for. What do you, Albert? What do you sort of think of the girls being on, getting a chance, even though they're doing so well with their clubs, but not really sort of linking with England until Serena seems to have come in? How do you think her influence is bringing that out?
Just before I quickly come on to that, obviously I saw with Serena Wiegman, I don't know if I've got this the right way around. Let me make sure. I'm not sure, but I'm sure someone will tell me. But I think she's the only woman to be voted twice for the best soccer coach award. I'm not sure she actually won it twice. Or
right.
Yeah. So yeah, she come.
Right.
So yeah, so that's no mean feat, man. This woman knows what she's doing. She's a winner, like we said. But yeah, as for the goalkeeper situation, you know what? It's I must admit, I was very impressed with. I've seen obviously a bit of Mary Earp. I think she's got the shirt personally, but you never know. But I was very impressed with Hannah Hampton, man.
Yes.
Distribution wise, even Ian Wright said it in the analysis at halftime. Aaron Ramsdale, honestly, like if as like with football's moved on and a lot of teams want to try and play it from the back, and if you've got, I mean, she's not even probably going to be. She's probably not even going to be the first choice goalkeeper, but you never know. But it's good to have competition. Not just that. It's very rare that I see in international football, whether it's men or women's, where you have three very good goalkeepers who you can definitely rely on. I know they haven't got many caps, as you alluded to, G, but yeah, even I was impressed with Ellie Roebuck as well. Like, they've got some good goalkeepers, England. I don't personally think that was. I think I said it's a Lottie. I think I wasn't the biggest fan of the likes of Karen Bardsley. I know people thought she was a good goalkeeper, but with these 3 goalkeepers, listen, England have got some serious talent there, man. So to play all 3 of them, like I said, G, I don't know how many more friendlies England have got before the Euros, but like I said, I think this was a tournament. The Arnold Clark Cup tournament was the one that Serena wanted to pinpoint and to see the players in the flesh and give them an opportunity against some of the big guns. And I was impressed, man. Very, very impressed with the goalkeepers. Because you know what? Clean sheets are very, very important. So there you go.
That you can deal with so many goals, but the defense is just as vital sometimes.
and like I said, and defensively, England, like I said, I was very impressed with what I saw in the Arnold Clark Cup. Yes, and they've got players offensively that can hurt teams, but defensively they was very, very good, and they got a lot of versatility within the back 4. A lot, and I even forgot Demi Stokes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the goalkeepers though to stay on that. Very, very impressed with what I've seen.
Nice. Perfect. Are there any more comments before we go into the fixture tomorrow?
Do you know what? They were absolutely flying in while you were talking, but I just want to add on to what Albert was saying. That goalkeeper shirt is for anyone. Hannah Hampton is brilliant.
Yeah.
When you watch WSL, all 3 of them, you see them on a regular basis.
Well, Hannah Hampton's only 21, is she?
Yeah, she's only 21.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so she's got a nice, even if she doesn't get it now, she's got a nice long England career
Yeah.
ahead of her.
100%.
So did the other two. I'm not too sure how old they are, but they're just, that shirt is for absolutely anyone at this point. All right. Oh, Matt Roberts. Adam, I'll set you a challenge. Can you name any of the players in the squad that are still playing from the 2 Euro finals? I can only think of one. Albert, I'm going to throw this one at you. You like your international football, because I know I'm not going to be able to name it. I don't. Gee, are you going to be able to?
Do you mean that are still in the England team now, or still?
Yeah,
actually?
he does.
Jill Scott's
Jill
Scott's been around for a very, very long time. Very long time.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
Ellen. I don't know when those finals were. I've got to say, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So
Ellen White's been in England set up a very, very long time.
Definitely. Matt, let us know the answers if Adam's guessed them. I know I can see that he's responded to you. That's why I do really want to give any answers, because it still look like a cheat. But do let us know, Matt, because I'd be very interested to see who the answers are. Over and over and over again, the Arsenal podcast. Serena is a winner. If we will ever win a tournament, she's the one who's going to bring it home.
Yeah.
Very true. Adam Salt has taken a guess. Matt, Anita Sante is one of them.
Wow, that's a name.
So he means still playing in general.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, that makes
but definitely Jill Scott, surely.
Yeah, 100%.
Jill Scott is another, and Matt's added still plays internationally. So I'm assuming Anita Sante doesn't play internationally anymore.
I don't think so.
No. Jill Scott then, Sir Adam, back to him. I've got tickets to Austria game and the semi-final from Richard. That's cool. Nice. Hands up in the stream and in the chat who's going to Old Trafford. Me! I am. I can't wait. Hopefully catch up with both Matt and Adam at the game. I'm really looking forward to that. Matt's put his hand up. Over and over and over again, the Arsenal podcast. Hannah Hampton is great as well. Yep, definitely. I think we're unanimous on that one, Richard. Matt Roberts, we have a keeper and a striker issue relying on Ellen White to score goals. An inexperienced international keeper won't get you far. It took us a while for us to score v Northern Ireland at Wembley. That is the point, that it took us forever to get any goals in that game. I think that game was in November, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I think so. September or November, potentially.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, the next part, the second game. I'll get onto that later, though, guys. I've got a bit of an announcement for you guys as well later. Matt Roberts, and it looks like Mead and England are finally win the game. Okay. Richard, previous managers stuck with it and tried and tested, which is why they have so many with a low number of caps now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Mary Earps has also had her issues. Remember her marking the post at the home game for Viv's goal. Yeah, I remember that. What's interesting about that is we've got 2 international friendlies just before the Euros. We're coming up against the Netherlands and Belgium. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be two very good games. They're friendlies, but it's going to be interesting to see what Serena does against her old team.
Yeah.
Richard again. By the way, guys, great to see more shows now covering the women's football. Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. We're here for the ride, aren't we, G? So yeah, we love it, and we love it. Matt Roberts, Roebuck has been injured, so she's coming back and should be fit. Think she should be considered for number 1 at the moment. Hannah has issues with concentration. Katie McCabe goal.
The life of a goalkeeper.
I can't disagree with that one. That was a good goal. From a biased Arsenal point of view, that was a good goal. I'm not complaining.
The life of a goalkeeper.
No, definitely. And the last comment is, yes, Jill Scott. Well done, guys. Good guesses.
Of course. The 155 capped. Jill Scott.
Yeah, she's part of the furniture. I wasn't sure how many caps she was. I know it was over 100, but 150 caps.
155 currently, which is just mental, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Yeah. I'm not sure who said it, but Hannah Hampton is 21. I've just been informed that Roebuck is 22 years old. So
Yeah.
she's got a nice long career as well. And Albert,
Yeah.
you've just said that to me. So well done for looking that up. Gee,
No worries.
I'm going to hand over back to you.
Yeah. So going into the reason why we're here, obviously the game tomorrow night away to North Macedonia. I can't pronounce their stadium name, so I'm not going to do it. I wanted to, but I just not.
Don't.
So yeah, looking back, we've already obviously played them at home earlier on in the qualifying campaign, and I would say comfortably got through that game with an 8-0 win. I'll be honest, I can't remember actually if I had watched this game at the time or not. Did any of you two either catch this game back early last year?
I do remember this game. I do remember this game because Mead scored an absolute screamer at the end, which I was like sitting there screaming like, "Come on, get it in the net, come on!" But it was a really, really England-sided game. Just constant possession, push them back into their own half. I mean, you can see on that score list they scored 2 goals for us. It's very, very good. I believe it was Ella Toon's one of her first 5 goals.
It probably would have been.
One of her first 5 goals, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'd have to go and double check that. If anybody knows how many goals Ella Toon has scored for England, please do let me know. I'm probably wrong
6
here.
now.
Yeah, I'm probably. No, definitely. But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was nice and easy. To be fair, I did hear rumours that these girls do have jobs at home, and this is like a second job. So, no disrespect to North Macedonia, which I can understand, because the pay gap is significant between the men's and the women's everywhere. But yeah, no, it was a good game. It was very much England orientated.
Yeah, of course.
Without
we're also
touching too many stats, G.
Well, yeah, there's a few stats that I thought were quite interesting, because sometimes you look at the scoreline and it could be a bit misleading. But actually, when you go into the most important stats, it kind of does it confirms what the kind of game it was. So across the game, we had 81% possession to their 19.
Ooh.
Which just sort of shows you. And then flipping into how that actually happened was 593 passes throughout the England team, as opposed to 150 for North Macedonia, which I actually thought their passing was actually quite high, considering they only had sort of 19.
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, G, they only managed to break out of their own half twice in that whole 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it was probably,
and that was because of a lapse of concentration from one of our girls. I don't remember who, but it was just like a slight lapse of concentration. So
yeah, that's it. It probably would have been a case of us pressing and actually passing it around without wanting to sort of go on and score. And then shots, which I couldn't believe how many were taken in this game. So we had 48 shots with 18 on target.
It's not target
that sort of conversion rate, is it?
No.
That's what 30 shots that we missed, basically.
Yeah, that were off target or blocked, I suppose. But there's quite.
To be fair, on North Macedonia, their keeper, she had a shocking game, but she did make some very good shot stops.
She kept the score down then.
Yeah, she did.
She kept it down.
Worse.
Oh God!
Yeah, she kept it down, but like her own team didn't even want to help her out. They had to score 2, so.
Oh dear.
Just the shame it was down the wrong end.
Yeah, if we flip over just to look at North Macedonia's ones, so they had 5 shots with 1 on target, which it kind of shows, doesn't it, the type of game that was going on there. I don't think. Well, maybe again, fouls. We actually made 8 fouls, as opposed to their 10. That's the interesting one for me, because I thought it would have been a lot lower on our side and a lot higher. But actually, it seemed like they were still up for quite a physical game. Reading off that, was it a physical game? Do you remember them? Anything really going on?
I think two of our fouls were really silly. They were really soft, but not specifically. I think I remember tweeting that was just a silly. That shouldn't be a foul at all. But the ref
more
thought
of
it was. Can't change it. Yeah, no, exactly. It's one of those ones where you look at the camera angles and it's like you've got the ball, it's fine, but it didn't look like they got the ball, sort of thing. It's one of them ones that actually gets fans talking, if you know what I mean. And we're always debating, should it have been a foul, no foul. And so yeah, no, it was one of those from what I remember, but it's a while ago. I could be wrong.
Yeah. And then looking at the scoreline, Albert, I know obviously we don't want to talk about the men too much, but it doesn't happen too much, but it can. But we do see it quite often in the women's game. Is that something to be sort of like worried about, the level of the qualifiers and the teams that are actually put into it, rather than a sort of a pre-qualifier to even get to this point to stop these sort of results coming through on the international stage?
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, I know with obviously don't want to talk too much about the men's, but when they had the sort of the Nations League, you kind of had some of the weaker nations, you know, within their own sort of group, sort of, which to me was a good thing but yeah, like I think Lottie mentioned it earlier, or you both might have mentioned it earlier, like just in terms, you don't want to be seeing games like that with the scores 20-0 and 8, like, but they like that's up to the federations. And for you know what, if you cut through all the sort of red tape with most organizations or business or sports, what do they need? Money, backing, support. And that's going to take time at international level. It will, because you're not going to have a game where England is beating someone 8-0 and 20-0, and you know in a year's time it's going to be a closer game. It's not. It's going to take years. With the England, like I remember sort of international qualifying group games where you know England were put in with some poor teams. Some teams used to get a hammering. It doesn't happen so much now for me in the men's football international. It doesn't. But that's taken a number of years for that not to happen. So the women's game internationally might have to go that way until you start seeing a bit more competitive game. Because like I said, if they're not professionals, they're not full-time professionals, they've got a second job and they've got other jobs. You know, until they get the backing and the financial support, you might see games like that continue to happen. And you know, you want the sport globally to be creditable. And it's not going to be when you're seeing games like that, but it's going to take time, G, man. Lottie, it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, but hopefully we won't see games like that too often.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those that's going to take a while, as you say. But again, to even reach the point where they can be paid to a decent standard, I'm not saying the same at all. Like, I don't agree with that. I think for what you are, then you should deserve if you're giving up your time in the evening where you come home from work to go and play for your country, there should be a point where it turns out you don't need to have another job. Like, you're playing for your country is enough.
We hope so. We hope so. You're right. It's a good point, man. It's a good point.
Hopefully we'll get there. But yeah, let's just briefly go across some of the team news that's come out in the last few days. I mean, it does sort of happen all the time, doesn't it? You get the squad announcement, and then as the time comes from arriving to St George's Park to the first game, there's always one or two that drop. It's going to happen for various reasons. So we'll go with the first one, the first news that came out, which was the Chelsea girls. Lottie, we had Beth England pull out, we had Liam Charles pull out, and talk to us what's happening with Fran Kirby, because I'm not sure I understand it.
Well,
I want to hear this.
From what I understand with Fran Kirby is she's not been played. She hasn't played in WSL for a while. She's been working on a personal program with Emma Hayes, and Emma Hayes hasn't really exactly divulged on that. But I think Serena wanted her, and Emma, she turned around and said no, by the sounds of things, which again is a classic Emma Hayes in terms of mind games, especially from, call me biased, but from an Arsenal point of view, that is mind games. I mean, we know how good that Chelsea side is with the FA Cup semi-final coming up. For me, it's the final before the final at Meadow Park, and it's a big game. And from an Arsenal point of view, for Jonas and the Arsenal girls, it's complete mind games. I mean, they're going to have 3 very good players fully rested, whereas we've got 4. there's 4 of them up at the moment, minus a couple which I know we'll talk about in a second. But it's just pure mind games, and I can't stand them. I hate her for it. Absolutely hate her for it. I know there's a lot of people that will agree.
You be reserved. You be reserved, right? It's fine. Just be reserved.
Hold back.
She's a very, very good coach, but I hate her. I just can't stand her, and I'm putting it politely. Complete mind games, and I don't understand. I think I haven't actually read the news. I know they've been withdrawn, but are they actually injured at all?
Well, they said that Beth England and Niamh Charles were coming out for COVID reasons. I don't remember. I might be wrong, but I only briefly read it. I don't know if they said they tested positive, officially tested positive.
I skimmed something. They're asymptomatic, so they've basically got COVID by the sounds of things. I don't wish that on anybody, but it's question marks above it if it's true or not.
That's the thing now. It's really hard because there's always, and there always will be, the people that need to, i.e., and don't want to go into the men really quickly, but Trent pulls out with a hamstring injury of England, and then all of a sudden is on the bench, but then plays the next Champions League game. These things, they're going to happen. And as much as these are still qualifiers, we are technically safe and sound, aren't we? So I guess from a manager's point of view, going into the end of the season with trophies and Champions League at stake, they don't want to be doing that. But do you think it's fair, Albert, that sometimes maybe it might not even be the player's decision, it's more the manager saying you're not going? What do you think?
I know that, just to quickly, it's relevant. Even of my beloved Nigeria. Well, I say beloved, but they were very proud a couple of weeks ago. We had the situation with obviously Emmanuel Dennis, Watford, where they basically said he couldn't go. I thought, well, I honestly don't know how that happened, but and that definitely wasn't down to him. I mean, I haven't got no relation to him, but I'd hazard a guess that wasn't down to him not to go to the African Cup of Nations. I'll say that at least and leave it there. But you know what, G, and it sounds really bad, but I'd like to think players wouldn't want to pull out of international duty. That was definitely spoken about, definitely in the men's game many years ago, about certain players probably not wanting to represent their country at certain times. But listen, for example, Beth England is someone who I wanted to see in the Arnold Cup games personally.
Yeah,
because she for me, I like what I've seen with her in sort of her different. I don't know how old she's still now, but so I wouldn't say it was so much a big issue her missing this sort of qualifying campaign in terms of this game coming up, but sort of reverse going back to what I'm saying. I'd like to have seen her at the Arnold Cup games for England, but there's only so many players you can pick for a squad, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to think players don't do that, but with the Emma Hayes thing, I get where Lottie's coming from. You're not the only one who shares that view. As good as coach as she is, Emma Hayes. If you don't want your players playing in certain games, the managers do it, man. They do it. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. It's their job.
Yeah, that's it. It's protecting what they have as well. It's the same as them going for England and saying please don't play them too much, or England saying we need them. It does work both ways, but it can be disappointing.
And add to that, for obviously, again, sort of going back to the men's game, but very quickly, the situation with Kieran Tierney, 2 90-minute games.
Yeah. There's no
I'm
need.
sure Arteta wasn't. I wouldn't say he was pleased that he played both them games, but put it that way.
That's it. Sometimes it should be a balance of let's protect each other with each other's goals. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens when that semi-final comes around next weekend. And then some further news to the squad that came out today. Luckily, we were sort of briefed about it earlier. And that was that Leah Williamson, obviously we just talked about her being named the captain. She has actually not travelled to North Macedonia with the team because she is suffering from concussion from the game the other day. I'll come to you on this, Lottie, because we obviously watched the game together. And we saw how much that affected her as soon as that ball hit her face.
You know, it kind of hit her, and then she's just kind of went straight down. And I'm sitting there, like obviously on our live chat, I'm thinking, oh, doo-doo, please don't be anything bad, because obviously after what happened in the last Euros, going back to the men's with Ericsson, it's just something you don't ever want to see again. I mean, I'm still traumatized with the BBC zooming in on the cameras. So it's head injuries we've got with the women's game. They take it more seriously than they do the men's, I feel. Literally, they will stop the game and they will get checked over, which is great. I can understand they're following protocols from what I saw from like the snippet interviews on the Lionesses page. It's better to be safe than sorry. If it means she misses out, it's tough. But in the long run, I hate to say it, but it's better for Arsenal.
Well, yeah. But at the same time as well, she still didn't really have the care that you would say the concussion protocol should have. They were on and off the pitch looking after her pretty much within a minute. And she played the rest of that game. So there's still there
is that question mark, but it's also a case of her making her own decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was her decision to go back on. If she told Jonas that she was okay, she'll go back on. And that's the kind of player she is. She's a team player. She will play until she is dragged off by Jonas, I feel. And but that's what we saw.
It's kind of like they obviously will always want to play, but there comes a point where a doctor should be like, no, the fact that she basically fell to the floor and she didn't move for a second kind of put alarm bells that there was something wrong. But, it is what it is. At least England are taking the care. So an off question here. Who would you want to see take the captaincy for just this game or both games?
It's going to be, I believe Millie Bright's been named vice captain.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, she has. Yeah, Millie Bright.
Oh, there we go. I didn't see that. Damn. That's easy.
Yeah. You know what? Millie Bright. I know she plays for Chelsea, but I think the first time I saw her was the last World Cup, actually. Bruising centre half, man. Millie don't take no prisoners. She goes for challenge. Brilliant. Listen, you can strike a ball as well. And there's a goal threat, as we've seen. Serena Wiegman's seen something in terms of, if England are chasing the game or they're or trying to win a game, you might see Millie Bright. They might go to a back. You saw it, yeah. They went to a back three. Mm-hmm. Millie Bright pushed up, and it was. Listen, I'm for it, man. It's you've got to be careful when you're playing against the big teams, obviously. But you know what? It's Millie Bright. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Very good vice. Yeah, very good choice. Very good selection to have her as vice captain.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. She's obviously has been captain a few times, which I was surprised when Leah was named captain over her, because obviously she had the captaincy a lot. But I mean, it's done now, isn't it? Yeah. And then some other news. We had Lotte, obviously with Amoy, withdraw again today. She I don't think she even managed to get there last time. She was in the squad, but I think she pulled out sort of straight away. And who else came out? Someone else came out. Sorry, Alex Greenwood. How can I forget that? Yeah, she's pulled out with a knee injury as well, so she's gone back to City. Two really good players. I think potentially with Leah being out, maybe more of a chance for Alex to pull in front, because as you said, Albert, earlier, that her distribution
is very good.
It's so good. She could be versatile and play in different positions.
And things been called up, hasn't she? Gabby George at Everton.
Yeah.
Very, very, very good. Very been very impressive what I've seen of her so far. I think she's Jesse Lingard's cousin, actually.
Yeah. Nice little link there. So she's the first player from Everton to come up for a while. And she was actually with the under-23s in Spain, they said, when she got the call to sort of make the switch and fly to North Macedonia. So another nice chance for someone else to sort of take a step and earn a shirt and see what it's like at this level.
England got some talent, man. Serious, man. Serious talent.
And a good chance for other clubs to be shown, because we all know what the league is like. We've got the top clubs. So it's nice for some of the Aston Villa. There's a few girls from Aston Villa, obviously Hampton and Jill Scott, technically on loan. But her as well. What do you think about the whole Lotta, obviously as Arsenal fans, situation? She was actually pictured in training this morning. She posted a picture, and then literally an hour later it said she'd withdrawn. So how do you think that's sort of a tactical thing as well? Lottie, what about you?
Do you know what? The thing is, she was out for a couple of weeks before the Champions League tie at the Emirates. So it could be. I wouldn't put it past Jonas, if I'm honest with you. I mean, she had that niggling thigh injury, so it could be reoccurring. But she did come back stronger, and she played her heart out that night. So I was well pleased to see that. With Rafa out as well, it's kind of concerning from an Arsenal point of view, because obviously the only one left to come in is Jen. Jen Beattie. I'm not her biggest fan, so I'm here panicking. So it could be tactical, or it could be a recurring injury for her. And I'd like to believe. I don't want it to believe it, but I think it's her thigh again. If I'm honest with you,
it is a thigh injury. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a shame because it would have been a night, especially after last time. It would have been nice for her to get in and get a shirt for one of the games. So that sort of leads on to a couple of final questions to sort of wrap
before
the show.
Before you wrap it up, these comments are absolutely flying in, and I'm watching it go bing, 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 bing. So I'm going to quickly whiz through these. Tom's now joined us. He's a little bit late, but three of my match favourites, evening people. Evening, Tom. Russ Vernon's joining us this evening. That's a new name for me.
Thank you.
So, evening, Gee, Lottie and Albert. Great to listen to three great people talk about the women's game. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you.
Matt Roberts, 2009 was our last Euros final.
Long time.
Wow.
Yeah, very long time.
Seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? Got Richard again. We missed about 35 chances in the last game. The North Macedonia. I can get the words out today. Matt again. 2009 was our last Euro final. Matt again. The game against Latvia was basically against school kids who were making their debuts because their main players couldn't play because of their other jobs.
There you go.
That's believable. After that scoreline, to be honest.
Yeah.
Matt again. Personally, would like to see a Nations League be formed so that the women's teams can grow more and help them develop and play against similar teams.
So I mentioned earlier the men, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. But I think it's also a case of countries having their women's teams.
Yes.
It's not as many countries have national teams like the men's do. If you I've never actually done it before, but if you look at the list of the men's teams at the qualifying compared to the women's, it's a lot smaller. It's a lot smaller. I think we've got a long way to go before that happens.
Lots of even domestically in our country, like a lot of even when you look at men's football, you take it for granted the amount of clubs have been around for hundreds of years, but a lot of these clubs are newly formed, man. Leicester City women haven't been around for that long. Liverpool's ladies team that just got promotion, I believe, to come up.
Yes,
like these guys are not
tearing up the championship.
Yeah. Man United's not been around a long time. They haven't.
No,
like so
we haven't. We haven't. If I'm honest with you, as an Arsenal club, we've been around since 1989.
So it's gonna take a while. You're right. It's a good point. It's a very relevant point. Very relevant.
No, definitely. Got Richard. The reason why we get such disparity in international women's football is due to the full-time pros against amateurs. It needs to be balancing out, but will take time and money. Exactly. I mean, it's grown so much. Majority of the Euros games have sold out. There's so many people going. I think me and Albert were discussing the other night, G, that they haven't touched any of the London stadiums. They've sent it to Southampton. No disrespect to Southampton and Brighton.
We said that, none of disrespect.
No disrespect to them, but their grounds are too small. You should be using the 60,000 seat, like the Emirates, just over a little bit more than Arsenal, the
Emirates,
new
Tottenham Stadium,
Tottenham ground, and then the West Ham as well. I mean, that's still virtually new. I mean, you're using Wembley, but you could have put the game on such a bigger and grander scale. And then there's also the fact that they didn't think it was going to sell out.
They must
give it the chance.
I think they underestimated it. I really do.
It is mad because even with the England side, right? If you think about it, and I know you try and broaden a tournament around the country, around different parts of the country, but if England don't win their group, for example, I think if they win their group or whatever, I mean, they won't play in London until they get to the final. I mean, I don't know how they worked out the stadiums in terms of before the tournament or who got what. But for the England games, I do find that a little bit odd.
No,
I
it
find
is.
very,
It is.
very
It is
strange.
definitely odd. I think you said depending on is it the quarters or the semis, we get to play at Brentford. That's the only ground.
Semi-final.
If we win the group, we play at Brentford.
I
No, if
think
we came
so.
runners up, it'd be at Brentford. If we came runners up.
Oh, okay. So that's
I think.
again. I know they're newly promoted, but their ground's tiny, and it's in a awkward space.
Yeah. It's
It
mad.
just doesn't make sense. I mean, they're even
it doesn't.
using the MK Dons ground. I've been
And
there a few times, and it's not that big.
No, it's
So,
not. And that's one of the semi-final grounds. That's one of the semi-final grounds.
Yeah, and it's this.
And Bramble Lane.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't
make sense.
We don't want people from Yorkshire coming in with daggers, but I was surprised when I saw the venues for the semi-finals, if I'm being honest.
No, I think they definitely underestimated it overall.
Yeah.
I mean, Old Trafford to sell out. All the England games are sellouts.
Sorry, Lottie. And again, no disrespect to
exactly.
I think Rotherham Stadium have got one of the quarterfinal games. I mean, I don't know who worked that out.
I don't know how that was worked out, but that surprised me. I didn't actually realise that they were going to Rotherham.
They're one of the quarterfinal grounds. Yeah.
It's no disrespect to these smaller grounds, but
yeah, of course.
You want to promote the women's game, put them on the bigger stages. I can understand why they wouldn't have chose Arsenal. We're going under a refurb this summer, with some luck. But there's so many other grounds you could use. I mean, they're using the City training ground for the academy in the women's game. They're using the academy stadium, I think it's called. I have no idea, but they could have used the Etihad.
You're right.
They could have used that.
You're right, 100%. I agree. I totally agree.
Matt Roberts, please for Gabby George to get the call up. She's done really well for Everton this season. Do you know what? When I did actually spot her when she played us, and I thought I was very impressed. Got Ryan in here. If we see a few Chelsea women team players pull out of the international duty, then we know it's not going on, not risking injuries with the title at risk. I think with the WS title, whoever wins the semi-final will win the title for me.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's the right drive. Whoever wins that semi-final is going to go on to win the title. So, Mr. Arsenal podcast, Millie Bright, Matt, you're forgetting Simone Boy. That is true. I am sorry, Matt. It's just one of those names I just never remember.
Yeah.
And I think, oh no, Jen Beattie. But do you know what? Jen plays all right alongside Leah, so I'll be fine. I just won't be looking when she gets the ball. Matt Roberts, they've got over a week for them to rest and recover. Yeah, no, there is a week. I mean, I get that. Let's dedicate 30 minutes of this show to Lottie telling us how she really feels about BE. Well, I've already said what I've got to say, but I don't need 30 minutes to say that, Ryan. Matt Roberts, Brentford get in the bin. It should have been another stadium. Exactly that.
Yeah, it should have been. No offense again, like we said. I don't understand it.
Even at Chelsea.
Loads of stages. It was so.
We could just name them all now.
Yeah, there's loads. Like it's crazy. It's mad.
And then I've got a very good one from Ryan now. Finally, we can ask the question on how Barcelona recently smashed it in the Champions League attendance record, filling out Nou Camp, but England, the clubs aren't promoting the matches enough. Do you know what?
Amazing.
With the women's Champions League,
91 and a half, was it? Amazing. Incredible.
Yeah, no. Nou Camp was completely full. It was a brilliant game. I did watch it back in the NG, I was like, oh my God, how did I miss this game?
It was amazing. And it's going to be, the semi-final was just sold out too.
It's sold out within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very good game. But I do feel with the Spanish teams, they're more established than they are the English teams. I will say that. I used to, like when you watch Arsenal, you think, oh yeah, we're one of the best teams in the world, and then you go to the Champions League and see how they play. It's like
just levels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's levels. There's levels. I remember going to the Emirates, like I knew we weren't going to get anything out of it. Yeah, I knew. I was just sitting there. And I went to see the Ballon d'Or winner. To watch Alexia Putellas play is just, she's out of this world, honestly. I'm so glad I went to the game. We might have lost 4-0, but she's something else to watch.
And more so, top players, man. Top players.
There's so many of them. I mean, obviously, first name that comes to mind for me is Putellas, Ballon d'Or winner. Say no more. I know there's a few more. I know we had a conversation about this the other day, Albert. But
We might
there's some
squeeze
absolute ballers in that team.
we might squeeze in a non-England game, Lottie, possibly as well.
Yeah. No, we'll come back to that at the end. Just hold it for a minute. We'll come back to that.
Right, all right.
Mr. Arsenal podcast, to get to full capacity stadium. Don't like this system of only opening certain amount of blocks and open up the rest of the stadium. Actually, do you know what? I've got to agree with Ryan with that. I saw a tweet for the Scottish national women's team, and I'm not sure where they're having their game, but they've only opened up 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah.
And I think it's absolutely disgraceful. They should be opening the whole ground up, especially with the Euros. It's ridiculous because the games are selling out.
You've got to allow the chance to see what the demand is. You can't just put out 20 seats and then think, well, they're full, but we'll put on another 10.
Good point, G.
You know, you've got to, even if they just did the whole lower block, you could accept that, but not half or like 3 blocks and see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the map of the image up in Ryan just said it's Hampden Park. So looking at it, it looks like, say if you're looking at the Emirates, it looks like just one side of the East Stand that they've opened up, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, even the players were calling the Scottish board out, saying this is unacceptable. How do you expect us to grow? How do you expect fans to turn up if you're not offering enough seats? Matt could have done with a stadium of light. St James's Park and the northernmost stadium was City's Academy Stadium. Yeah,
madness. Yeah,
no, definitely. Barcelona clearly had a plan to sell out and smashed it. Yet I say over here, the club seem to struggle or just not care enough to promote it. It just seems like a token gesture. To be honest, do you know what? It's grown so much this year. I've seen so many more content creators. I mean, me and G are on this journey as well, and it is growing. But the sad fact of it is, I know several people who have said it will never be as good as the men's game. It's women's football, and it's purely because of that. And it's the case. It's the attitude towards it, and that's the issue.
That's the key word. That's the key word.
Whereas you feel like, you know, it wasn't. When you quickly go back to the Barcelona game last week, you know, the historic mosaic, they do it in the men's game. It's always been a thing, but it wasn't just at the very beginning of the game to get the vibe going. It kept going every 10-15 minutes. They all did it again. It wasn't just the odd group. The whole stadium put the plastic, I guess, up to keep creating the atmosphere. And I think that, as I say, it's the attitude. It's the old-fashioned, no offense, male attitude of, no, I don't like that. I'm only in it for the men. Whereas if you actually did try and watch it, most people, especially that game, I mean, it really lived up to every expectation. I know not every game is like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you had watched that for the first time, surely you must have felt the connection as a general football fan of, wow, the standards of the players, the goals, then the atmosphere. Who wouldn't have wanted to be sat in that stadium at that point?
No,
Even
just watch it, goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's just, but it is the attitude of some people, and it won't ever change.
No, it won't.
But do you know what?
But it is growing. It is.
No, definitely. I think Matt was up at the Manchester United Everton game for the first time at Old Trafford. And obviously they had a lot of fans turn up, and the sad thing about it was in our group chat, and he turned around and said that there was this guy that was there. Obviously the game was going on, and he was just absolutely slating the players. With the women's game, it's not the fans aren't egotistical. You can actually sit there in mixed home and away fans, no problems.
Yeah.
But when you get games like that, you get the idiots that come out. And that's where the problems are going to begin. And I do feel that the WSL is not ready for that. I don't think they've even thought about it, and the rate it is growing. I don't know about you, G, but when it comes to that, how do we stop it?
I have no idea, because I think for some people, and we've our friends that we've met through all of this have honestly come on this journey with us as well. They've maybe watched our show, or we've been talking about an Arsenal game, because that's the connection. It's the club you support, and then in the pub after the game we'll have the women's game and they watch it and they get involved. And some people do want to open up to it, but some people, I feel like they want to just do it as a ticking box and be like, yeah, I support the game, and all they ever do is state what's happening.
Yeah.
And I know that does, obviously we talk about the men in the same way sometimes, but I think it's always a different approach of how they're being spoken about. Someone earlier actually put something out that women fans basically just talk about how good looking the men are all the time and not actually interested. And I was like, hang on a minute. I said, do you know how much this is actually the other way around? And he was like, no, I don't see it. And I was like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So I just really don't know how those type of people, I don't think you can even get in there. But at the same time, for me, I'm always like, do you not have a daughter? Do you have a niece, a sister?
Yeah.
Like, how can you still have that attitude when you might have a female that's close to you? How would you feel if your daughter then wanted to be on that pitch playing? Would you still have that attitude? And why should it then change just because it's your relation rather than what it actually is? So yeah, it's deep in my heart.
I completely agree with you there, G. But if you look at it as a collective, some girls do that. I will hold my hands up. I have done it. We have both done it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the game. I don't constantly sit there and think about that. I'm sorry. I prefer the game of football. There's more to it.
That's a very narrow.
It's
we've had many.
I think everyone does it in life, don't they? If you watch your favorite TV program or favorite film, there's someone you're like, oh, they're nice, but it's
absolutely
not that makes
it's
you
exactly.
Really
it's like it. It's like you watch Marvel, and it's Bucky. It's it's something you enjoy, but it's Bucky. Or you watch, what's her name? Scarlett Johansson's character. I've completely forgotten. You watch Scarlett Johansson, you like Scarlett, or you watch Woodsy. Do you know what I mean? It's a normal, it's a human thing, but there's a point where it goes.
I'm very guilty of it.
Oh, I know you are. Let's not get started, yeah.
But you also, it's not that you watch it for that person. Like,
no,
and
that's the thing.
Everything else,
you can separate somebody being good at their job, i.e., footballer presenter.
No, definitely.
That massive. There has to be the separating of that has to be.
But again, it's those sort of attitudes, isn't it? Really, that it's kind of funny to be like, well, she's fit or he's fit. It's like, just get on with it, watch the game.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Get stuck in.
No, exactly. Last few comments, G, and we can move on. Thoughts as well on the North London derby slams into the middle of the last week of the season, and now has to build up for the decider. As an Arsenal fan, that makes me anxious. They put it on a Wednesday night on the 4th of May. They've sold out right round from the East Stand, from where the away fan sits, all the way around to Block 4 in the North Bank. They have offered refunds to fans who can't get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday night. I can't see people turning up.
It's going to be Champions League vibe.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
Massively.
I think if they hadn't come down with COVID, we would have had record numbers that weekend. Mm-hmm. Honestly, the sun was out.
Mm.
It would have been a brilliant day, and I would have been on club level enjoying every minute of it. Going into the women's games is more pleasurable and even more family friendly. Ryan is right there. I mean, I've heard that from Matt, because Matt's a regular. He goes to all different games, not just the Arsenal games. And Matt is correcting me here. That was the Birmingham City game. The guy at United was abusing the Everton fans. So it's really not necessary. Ryan, let me know it's Black Widow. Yeah, that's her name. And then I'm not gonna sing this, Tom.
No, don't.
So I'm just gonna let everybody have a read on screen. Audio listeners, I am sorry. 4th of May, be with us. From Tom, May the 4th be with us. There we go. A bit of Star Wars reference that's been going on.
Go on, Tommy.
G, nice. I'm going to hand over to you for the last part of the show.
Yeah. I think first I'll flip it and we'll go. It's just a bit of fun, you know. We're going for the predictions of the score. It's, you know, for anyone who wants to comment, it's just a bit of fun. It's just if it happens, you feel great if you get it right. But it's no disrespect to North Macedonia, anything like that. It's just a talking point. So let us know yours as well. Lottie, I'll go with you first. What are you thinking?
I am going to go 8-0 again, and I'm going to have a Lauren Hemp hat trick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I quite fancy it. So,
I'm writing that down.
do you know what? I tell you
Recording
what, G, do write all that down for me, and I will give a special shout out to the people who get the score right on Tuesday night before the Northern Ireland game, the chat along. I will be joined by Albert as well, so we'll definitely give them a shout on Tuesday night.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, Albert, what are you saying? What are you feeling?
What's the way, isn't it? So 5-0.
5.
Yeah.
Nice.
5-0. Keep it 5.
Any hat trick heroes in there?
Particular score?
You know what? I'm sure. Well, she's obviously not going to be in part of the squad now. I was going to say Beth England, but obviously she's not anymore. But who's going to play? Really, I'm trying to think.
Mido at all? No Arsenal bias here.
Yeah, go on. Stick. Let's have Mido. Go on, Mido. Go on. Get a couple in there. Go on, Mido.
Nice. Well, I'm going to go 6.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to say that White will hit her 50 goals.
Of course.
Yeah,
12.
She's on 49.
49. That's correct. Yeah.
So I'm going with her for 2, and we'll stick Toon as well.
Oh, go on, Ella.
Nice. Very nice. G, you're going to have to text them across to me after the show so I don't forget.
Yeah.
I have got some scores finding. Guys, please let us know what you think that your scores are. There's 7 of you watching, and I've had 2 come in. So 1 from Ryan, 15-0. Show. And then we got another 5-0 to England. Beth Mead to score from Matt. And then Ryan's gone for Mido for 4 goals and 3 assists. That's very precise. Wow. Do you know what? She is on fire for England, though. I will say that. She is absolutely on fire. So if anybody else wants to get involved, please drop your scores in and I will read the rest before the end of the show.
Perfect. And last question. I feel like this is the most exciting one to hear back from you guys. And
this one.
You know, we can sometimes stick with our Arsenal. So I want to know your favourite non-Arsenal Lioness player. Albert, let's go with you.
Well, how long have you got, man?
And why? Tell me why.
A lot of reasons, to be honest. But I'm gonna be cheeky. Obviously, I've made no secret. I absolutely adore Ellen White. I think she's fantastic. 49 goals and 104 caps. That's quite impressive, man, for someone that hasn't always led the line and has always been brought on as a sub. So listen, she's been phenomenal. And actually, you know what? I think that World Cup in 2019, she was exceptional, man. Absolutely exceptional. I know it was 3 years ago, but I still don't understand why she never took the penalty against USA. That's just my own personal opinion. But you know what? And as well, you know what? I remember they interviewed her after the semi-final against USA 3 years ago, and obviously you're not going to feel great after. And I wanted to reach through the screen and just hug the woman because it was tough, man. Like to stand up there and be throwing questions at you at that point. And I think she scored a couple of goals in that game, actually, if I'm right. She definitely scored anyway. But yeah, love Ellen White. The Alan Shearer of women's football. Lethal striker. Her finishing the Arnold Clark Cup game against Germany outside of the right foot. Beautiful finish. And I must give a special mention to someone else. I'll call her the Andrea Pirlo of the midfield. Kira Walsh is class. Best, as they say, they say she's the best player in that position in the women's game in world football, not even domestically. World football. She's brilliant. Superb. If England are going to have a chance, they always say you've got to win the midfield battle. Not just win it, but you've got to have quality as well. And she's got that. Her passing range is incredible. You get her the ball. You got the danger people in Hemp who we're going to talk about probably, possibly, maybe, even not sure.
Who knows?
Yeah. But Kira Walsh, man, people, if you're not seeing, the first time I came across her was obviously the last World Cup. She's only 24, I believe. I'm not sure. Was also part of the England squad in 2019 under Phil Neville, that won the She Believes Cup. But an exceptional footballer and one to look out for people who haven't watched her already. If he plays for Manchester City, so superb player, man. Love her, fantastic.
Nice. Good options there. And Lottie, do you want to go next?
For mine, I don't think she really needs an introduction. She came her grassroots. She came through Blythe Town. County-wise, she played for Northumberland CFA. She's arguably one of the best right backs in the country. She can play. She's played all the way across the right field, but she's much better playing an attacking fullback. And for me, she's another Man City player. She's won the Champions League with Lyon. She's now back on her second spell, and it's got to be Lucy Bronze. I absolutely adore her. 86 caps, nine goals for us. Obviously, she hasn't played in the qualifiers at all due to her injuries, but she's now back. We saw her return in the Arnold Cup for 3 games. She started twice, came on as a sub once, and it's just nice to have her back. It's nice to have her back, and the experience she brings to the table, it's exactly what we need amongst the younger players.
Nice.
Good shout, lots. Great shout.
A lot of experience too.
Yeah, 100%.
No, definitely.
Nice.
I think she played in the 2015 World Cup. She scored a banger against Norway in the quarterfinal. I remember that.
Yeah, I think Adam mentioned in the chat earlier that we need one of them worldies.
Yeah, she's class.
She is coming up against Norway. Major tournament worldie.
Yeah, she's
class.
No,
definitely. I'd love to see one of them, especially up at Old Trafford. That would be great.
Yeah. So mine's by far Lauren Hemp.
Oh, brilliant.
You know, I think she's only got 17 caps so far. But just what she brings to the England team is just massive. The energy she has till the very last second is second to none, really. Obviously she's another City player. We've all gone for City players.
Yeah.
But you know, she's just such a huge talent, and I feel like she's come out of nowhere. But she is probably one of the first names on the team sheet for me.
Yeah.
And I know obviously Lottie is a huge fan of Lauren as well. We basically picked the same person first.
We did. So I went for my second favourite, guys. But as G said, we're both massive fans of her. I mean, she took a while to find her boots, to be fair, didn't she, G?
Yeah, we were really hoping for her first goal for a little while. But just unbelievable play, and excited to see her sort of take on this Euros, and obviously the World Cup next year.
Definitely. So I think one of my better memories is when she first started scoring for England, and we were both watching the game. We were texting each other, and I remember the first one went in, and I flew off my sofa like, "Oh my god, it's gone in!" And like my mum stuck her head out from the kitchen like, "You're feeling all right," but it went in. I was just so happy for her.
You know what?
I think another 3 came after that. I think it was her first 4.
Yeah, I heard good.
Brilliant player.
Yeah, I heard good things. I heard good things about her, but I actually hadn't seen her play too much. But I thought, you know what? When the Arnold Clark Cup games came on, she's that good. She's only 21. She could be the difference between England probably winning it. You got to get her the ball. I think she's young, so just get your head up a little bit, Lauren, when you're running. But she's gonna be the difference. She is. She gives England that spark, and listen. You need quality and that extra something in a major tournament to win you important football matches, and she can do that, man. And you're right, she is one of the first names on the team sheet. Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final comments at all before we sort of wrap?
Ryan's added to his score sheet. Paris to get 2. She's only, you know what? Since she's joined Arsenal, she's only scored 5. So it'd be nice to see her to get her goal confidence back. I mean, she was brilliant the other day against Leicester, King Power. Absolutely phenomenal. I will give her credit for that. Tom's gone for Fran Kirby. Reading born and raised, so it's a local. She's one of the local girls, so I completely.
You know what?
Get that.
You know what? Sorry to cut. It's a good shout because I think Serena Wiegman's got a conundrum, because if you play Kirby in the team, she's wasted playing her out wide. One of the, she is. You have to get her in the team. If you get her in the team, if you're going to start her, you've got to play her off Ellen White, whoever the main striker is, or in the number 10 position. That her third goal against Germany proved that. In the third goal, you have to get her in centrally, but she can do it. Serena Wiegman. It just depends if she will do it. But listen, it's a great conundrum to have. But good shout, Tommy, man. Good shout.
No, definitely,
Nice.
definitely. Tommy, as well, did you see that the Villa home game is made bank holiday weekend at Meadow Park on the Sunday as well? That is still hasn't been decided yet, Tommy. It says TBC on the Arsenal website, so it might move, it might not move, but originally it wasn't moved because of that weekend is one of the Champions League semi-finals. So unfortunately we were out, so I think that game will stay where it is.
Or the TV.
Yeah.
It might change for the TV potentially.
Yeah,
You never know.
I'm checking every other day to see when they've released the TV fixtures, because I think as it's the last home game of the season, I'm definitely want to get up there.
That would be good for you.
Yeah.
I wish I could be there too.
Yeah,
next season we'll be there.
Yeah, no, I'm getting you up there a few times. So we'll definitely be doing it a bit more. Got 2 more comments flying in. You got Jodie Taylor for Matt, or even Alex Scott. Do you know what? That's very good.
Jodie Taylor was class.
That's very good, because when G originally asked me this, I was thinking current team, and I completely forgot about Alex Scott. Completely forgot about her. I feel really bad now because I only just looked at the current squad. Oh, I know, but I automatically thought, right, current squad, who do I like best? Obviously, massive fan of Lauren Hemp, and then I wanted to do something different. I went
Yes,
for the second.
100%. Yeah.
Well, technically the third, because Beth is one of my favourites. But wonderful G here said no Arsenal players. I was like, ugh.
listen, there's more I could have said. I mean, listen, as Lottie knows, I like Alex Greenwood as well.
Yeah, she would be my second, but I was like, City.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do like Alex Greenwood. I do. Yes, a lot.
Yeah, I know she's definitely a good player. I mean, even you've got Russo as well coming through.
Yes, good shout, lots. Yes.
I think, is it Alicia? Is it Alicia or Liz?
You got it right the first time, I think. Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah. Good shout again.
Yeah. No, it's just, do you know what? As you said earlier, Albert, I think she's got a conundrum on her hands. There's so many players to choose from. I mean, the talent is a lot richer than what we've got in England at the moment. I know the younger players are coming through. It's going to be harder in the future for whoever's managing England, but it's not that difficult right now because someone likes to play safe. But Serena's got a conundrum coming for the Euros. It'd be interesting to see who she picks.
Absolutely, it's exciting times.
We'll touch on the men's that where me and Souls we won't be in Qatar anyway, but we'll be doing full coverage.
Definitely. I think me and G will be jumping on there at some point as well. I hope.
Absolutely.
I hope we'll have some fun again like we did in the Euros last year.
You was.
Did enjoy that.
It was.
Did enjoy that. Well, G, have you got anything else for us tonight? Or is that everything?
That's all from me, to be fair. Obviously just want to say thank you, Albert, for coming on. It's always great to speak with you. It's been a while, so we like to be back with you. Have you had fun?
Of course, but listen, as Lottie knows and many people know, I've watched the England ladies teams for quite a long time and many tournaments. Going back to the Faye White days, Karen Carney, Hope Powell, Marion Spacey. Listen, man, I've seen some of our best, the ones that the Trailblazers, man. Trailblazers got to start somewhere. So no, it's like I always enjoy the women's national team. They've improved, man. They have improved over from 2015 semi-final. Euro semi-final, 2017 semi-final. We need to go that one step. Maybe the timing's right with getting Serena Wiegman in. Absolutely, timing's everything. Apparently,
of course.
No, definitely.
And Lottie, my co-host, thanks obviously for everything. You're so helpful. Getting me through it. Have you had fun this evening?
Hey, no, I have running things behind. I know the pictures are a bit muddled up, but we got there in the end, and I always enjoy teaming up with you. As Albert likes to say, the triple threat are back, and we're here to run things. Little bit of announcement, guys. For the Euros, me and G, we are back. We're still working on a Euro show name. I'm getting an intro video sorted. I'm getting graphics sorted by our one and only Martin, which is Gunforce Edits on Twitter. If you're not following him, please go and check his stuff out. It is phenomenal. But yeah, we're going to be back with a Euro show. We're going to do a lot of cross-channel work. We've got all of it planned out. I'm going to be hosting. G's going to be hosting. And we've got an extra special host for the month of July. And that is none other than the man below me, Albert JTV. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes,
So I'm really looking forward to that. Our next show is I am back on Tuesday night for the Northern Ireland game. Got something a little special happening for that game because one of my co-hosts on the men's show is actually going to the game. So I've got something that's really special cooked up for you guys. So make sure you tune in and don't miss that because there's also another special guest jumping on that night for the first time. So it's going to be very, 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 very good chat along. We'll be starting from 7. Keep an eye out for my tweets.
Nice, love that. Can't wait to watch it. As always, thanks everyone in the comments for your questions. Really good topics as well to keep us going through the show. We appreciate everything. So make sure you do like it and subscribe if you somehow haven't already. As Lottie said, the show will be back on Tuesday. So if you follow the socials, are probably in the link below, then we'll keep you up to date when that's going to be. And we'll hopefully see you there. Good night.
Definitely. Thank you for that, G. I am going to do the last comment of the night, and that is from one of our regulars, I should say, and that is Matt. Great show, and well done to you all. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And with that, I am going to say good night to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Keep
chatting.